In the last video, we have created our Spring Boot project using Spring Initializer, and then we have added some dependencies and opened it in IntelliJ IDE and ran it successfully. So now in this episode, we are going to roll up our sleeves and start writing actual code. We will build the backend of our TradeX application. So let's get started. So now let's create our first package. So what you have to do, we have to right click on this and you have to select new, then we have to select package and our package name is model. Inside the model package, we are creating our Java class called user. Now we are making a database. We are designing a database. In that database, we are expecting that whatever information we are getting from the user will save in this particular place. So now what this place will be. So as we are using a MySQL database, so in MySQL database, there is a table. Now in that table, there is a row and columns. So first of all, we will discuss what the database is. So we have observed that in application properties, we have declared one TradeX one. So what this TradeX one is? So this TradeX one will be the database name of our MySQL. Now, okay, we have now TradeX one database, but in that database, what is the table? So in that TradeX database, we will designing one table. The table will name as a user, and in that table, we are saving the information. So you know that, and I know that this is the user database. This is a user table. But how the Spring Boot would know that this is mapping to a database table? So for declaration of this, we have to declare some things, and so for that there's a we have to mention entity. Now after declaring this, our Spring Boot will map this Java class to a database table. Now, which database table? So we have to mention a a table name. So table name will be a users. Okay, fine. Now we have created, and now users will be the table name in our database. Now we are declaring the column names in our database. So as you know, in MySQL, there are two things. One is column and second is row. Now in rows, we are storing the entries from the users, and in column, we are storing the field name. So our first field will be the ID. Okay. But this ID should be a primary key of our database. So for that, we have to mention that this is a ID. So by declaring this, now we are declaring that this is a primary key. Now we have created a field for ID, and we have declared is it as a primary key. But uh, the ID should be generated automatically. So for that automatic generation, we have to mention generate values, and in which we have to pass this. This is one syntax: generation type auto generation type identity. Now we have declared ID field, which is auto generated and which is a primary key of our table. Now, after ID, the next column should be the uh, username. So instead of username, we can save it as a full name. Next column as email. Now, uh, in every database, there is one unique key that is a primary key, but we have to also mention that one user can't log in from different accounts. So different account means we have to declare that email should be unique. It is not repeated in our database. So that means it should be a unique. And also there should be there compulsory should be there is an email. That means there should be no null values for the email. So for these two conditions, the first, the email should be unique, and the second, email can't be null. For that, we have to declare that this column should have unique value, and it can't be a nullable. Now, after email, we are storing the user account password. For now, I am not uh, applying any encryption or decryption. We can directly, for now, we are just directly save, but later on, when we see how JWT will work and before that authentication there, you can also encrypt this password. So after password, we are storing the mobile number. So now we have declared the mobile number. Then we have also declared one field for a wallet balance and the role. So role can be user or admin. Accordingly, both have different features available. Then when the account will be created, that time will be stored here. Now we have created one field, created at, in which we are going to save the time at when the account is created, or we can say when the entry is entered in the database. So how can we do this? So to perform this task, uh, we have to know one thing that there is a JPA entity lifecycle callback methods. There are multiple methods. So let's see how can we save the time before the saving data to database. So this is the part of a JPA entity lifecycle callback method. So there are multiple methods. So let's see how we can save the time. So we are using at the rate persist, and after that we are creating a void function on create. So this is a JPA annotation. So this is a JPA annotation that tells a Spring Boot that whenever you are going to insert a new entity into the database, first execute this function. Means पहले जब एंट्री होने से पहले ये फंक्शन एग्जीक्यूट कर लो और फिर उसके बाद ही आप एंट्री एंटर करो. So pre-persist, that name itself will indicate that pre-persist means before inserting. So here we have declared that inserting we are correcting the a time by this function, and we are saving and it is automatically saved. So initially what we are doing is we are we are declaring a wallet balance as 10,000 rupees, and the role we are by default assigning user. So what we are doing is before inserting, what this line indicates is that before inserting the value, before inserting value in table, execute this function first. Now, like pre-persist, there are other functions also. Like there is another function which is post persist, which is for a before insert, which is for a after inserting. Then there is one more function, uh, re-update. Now you can relate it before updating. Then post updating means after the updating. Then one more is there for there are many also you can visit for to their official documentation. There are also pre-remove, post-remove. That means before deleting and after deleting. So I think we have done with this file. So now we have done with this file. What we have created a class user which is mapped to this table in our database, and these are the fields. But one thing is that now we have created the class. But to use it, we require some objects. So who will create those objects? So we are declaring method like no argument constructor. So before this, you have to go to your application properties. We have to go to your pom.xml, and at that file, you have to enter this dependency. Now you can download this dependency from from Google anywhere. We have to just type that research Maven dependency for Lombok, and you have to insert. I have used this version, you can use any version. Now, after this, we have insert here no argument constructor. So, what this do? This will create a object with a empty value. Object with empty value. Now, if you have to create a object with a value, so for that we have to declare all argument constructor. Means this will create an object with a value create. Okay. Now we have created the object, but we have some certain function that if user required the full name of a particular ID, then there must be a one function declared here. If ID will come and it is asking for full name, then return the full name. Likewise, if some another query is there that it will require a mobile number for a particular username, then we have to write separate function for a full name and find the related mobile number and return it. So it is very hectic that we can't write all the possibility of function. So for that, we have to set a getter function. We have to set getter of Lombok. So what this will do, this will set the this will set the all get functions. And likewise, if we have to update only a particular password field or only a particular mobile field or only for a full name and email. So for that, we need a setter. So what exactly is this? We have to set a getter we have used to set all get functions, or we can say uh, to read the values. Listen to read the values that user want full name, and it will write a function to get a full name and it will return it. And now we have to update some particular values. Then setter will help us that if we say if we have to update the field for mobile number, then setter will create the function that uh, for update a mobile number and return the updated mobile number. So that is what we have done in this file. So now I think we have done with this file. Now I think we have done with this file, and now we are able to see what we have created. So So before moving on, make sure that you have installed a MySQL in your laptop. And now we are checking that. Now we are opening our MySQL. So I am logging with my root account. You can log in with your account with which you use. Now, what we have done, we have created one database. Now, in MySQL, what we have to do, whatever we have declared the database name. Here in application of properties, we have declared TradeX database name. But when we execute it, our system will don't know MySQL will not able to create database automatically. So for that we have to create a database manually. So let's create one database manually. So create database name TradeX1. So now we have created one TradeX1 database. Now let's see we use those database. Okay. Now before that we will stop this running and let's see we run this again. We can see here building is under progress. Now it is running. So I think it is, yeah. So let's see. Uh, we can see here that create table user and alter table users and alter table user constant. Here we can see some statements. So let's see. In our TradeX one, we are now try to see the table that we have created. We have created one table whose name is user. So select start from users empty set. So user table will have empty set because we haven't insert any row in it. So instead of this, we can see show tables. So yes, users is created. So this table is created when we run this application. At that time, this table is created.